Today, we're going back to some Goldlewis content. It's been a little bit because I've been on other characters. But today, I thought we would do something kind of fun. I went ahead into the Goldlewis Discord. There's a Goldlewis community Discord. Check it out if you're not in it already. And I asked for tech submissions. Today we're rating the tech. We're going to look at setups, combos, what have you, whatever got submitted. And we're going to give our opinion on it. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, we have a couple of submissions from the absolute GOAT, Yogurt Mail, a very majestic Goldlewis player. And so let's see what we have here. Referred to in the submission as highly impractical but kinda silly. I shall be the judge of that. Okay, so we've got standard Oki here to drone the Yozansen into Backturn. I like it. Obviously, if you include the combo damage, the net damage potential is really high. Let's break it down a little bit though, eh? Let's take a look here. So we get our knockdown. Here's my concern right now. I don't think that this drone is meaty, which is an issue that can pop up in some of these setups. I believe that the soul would be able to up back here and air throw, would be able to DP on your air dash, would be able to just mash on your air dash most likely. Now, that doesn't mean this setup doesn't have any potential though, and it's obviously super saucy. Sauce factor gets a top score from me on this one. Very nice. But the problem with these kinds of setups, right, is that if you want your drone to meaty with level 3, the only way you can set it up is with close/2H486. That's it. You would have to drone right here. You actually need a really long knockdown in order to make it meaty properly. The question is, you know, could you get this left-right during that time? Probably not, because drone is actively hitting you, which means that you have cross-up protection during that time. So this is basically like a knowledge check setup, which is fine. You know, knowledge check tech is very good on Goldlewis. The question is it actually worth doing compared to other setups? I think that blocking this cross-up is easier than blocking a backturn. And I'm confident that the frame data would be kind of similar to like just jump over them, Backturn 862, 842. And that is a genuine 50-50. No matter what backturn you choose, both of them look identical to the non-backturn versions. And I think that if you're committing to this schmix, well, you might as well do something that is hard to react to, or is impossible to react to. It's just a straight up guess. Now the counterpoint to that would be the reward. The reward on this setup is pretty high, obviously, as we see here. I'll just play it from the beginning. But I just think it's a little bit too long of startup. I really like the fact that you can get a backturn out there though. It's cute, just like the person who submitted it. Now we're checking out setup number 2 from the Goat Yogurt Mail. Let's see what we've got. Looks like a standard fuzzy setup into a rising JD. Okay. We're gonna have to watch this again, and I might be pausing it here and there. Okay. Okay, there's the problem right there. I do not think that this would combo on normal hit. So you get your fuzzy here, JKJD, and then go for 5k. I'm pretty confident that would not confirm. And I don't think that the spacing would allow for this cross-up J248 if you don't 5k there. There's also the issue of course, that JD being kind of fake, and again, you not being able to combo off of that on normal hit, even if it does connect. The whole hope with this setup is to, like, open them up once here, somewhere in this string, but if you do, I'm afraid there's no way to confirm any of them. Now, I do like RBTs into fast RC with JH with JK whatever running. That's really good actually. And that kind of thing can mix people up big time. But I think that this setup overall is just a little too impractical in terms of like how what you're doing aligns with your objective. Your goal is to open them up and to get some damage. But you're spending all your resources on just trying to open them up one time, and any of the times you do open them up, you don't really get a combo out of it here, is my concern. So the setup itself, wouldn't really recommend, but some of the ideas therein, they're good. They're good, yes. Next up, we've got a combo from Cheeba. So let's see what we've got here. Some standard corner pressure in the 842 hit. Okay. I understand. So, yeah, this is something that I think not a lot of Goldlewis or non-Goldlewis players alike really appreciate, which is the insane damage potential of 842 if it actually goes through, if you choose to do something that's even relatively optimal. So the thing that makes this kind of tricky, what Cheeba's doing here, is that it's a little hard to actually hit confirm 842 in close slash 6H. But the nice thing about it is if they don't FD, which is what this May was doing. No FD on the 8, well, did FD, tried to FD on the 842, but wasn't FDing beforehand, so like, you were really close. But if they don't FD here, you're in range for close slash regardless. So what you can do is just press S and go straight into 6H. And on block, it's good if you get the 6H out. It's just risky because there's a big gap there. But if you're pressing on close slash against Goldlewis, so be it. On hit though, you get a huge bombo if you go into close slash 6H. This is definitely the optimal starter on 842, and you can get giga damage, particularly if you have meter. This is why, by the way, I think that we're not using enough 842 in the corner, especially against non-reversal characters. Every time you should be doing the 2k OTG like into 842. The problem with that though is that the close slash 6H will splat a lot of the time. The 6H does a lot of wall damage, but I mean, that's kind of unavoidable in this situation. This is like an ideal thing that Cheeba got here, which is there's like no wall damage, which allows you to get this full combo. 90, and even then it almost wall splats, right? On the 426, 99% of the time, if you go for the 6H on 842, it's going to wall splat right there. And even if it doesn't, it'll wall splat right on the 426. But again, no problem, because that's the most you can get off of it. That is optimal. But the reward is crazy high if you can get the 6H. The problem is hit confirming it. That's the problem with this tech. It's very hard to hit confirm into close slash 6H. It is like a double hit confirm, to be fair. A 2 hit confirm, which is considered very feasible. So if the 842 hits, you visually see that and you go into close slash, and by the time your close slash is done, you react and press 6H. Definitely feasible, but the bounce off of 842 is not that high. It is honestly not the easiest thing in the world to see this and press close slash. I can just tell you from like 1,000 hours of playing Goldlewis that it is not the freest thing to visually confirm into close slash 6H here. But if you can, and you have the right amount of wall damage for it and whatnot, it's super, super good. So this one is like a little iffy if I had to rate the tech. It's something that is definitely worth knowing and is really, really good under the right circumstances, but it's also something that requires practice. It's something that you just can't see the tech and be like, okay, I'm just going to do that every time now, or I'm going to steal this setup and do this setup. No, it's not that easy. It's really kind of ideal to be able to close slash 6H on hit 842. But it's so strong, so I would recommend it. Gets the seal of approval from me. Okay. Next up, we've got another quick little setup from the Goat Yogurt Mail. Let's see what we're cooking here. So this is some new Goldlewis tech that we're going to be seeing more here, and I think I'm going to make a separate video about this. But this is referred to as a land cancel in the Goldlewis community. So I'm just going to explain it first. If you haven't seen this before, especially if you're a non-Goldlewis player, you definitely haven't seen this yet. Basically, Goldlewis has this odd property where if you do a behemoth in the air, like 1 or 2 frames before landing, for whatever reason, you don't have landing recovery. And you can just do something as soon as you land. The frame you land, which basically has the effect of canceling your landing recovery into another move. And so you can do an air behemoth and immediately land and go into a grounded behemoth. and you don't have landing recovery, right? So you have to watch this kind of closely when you're looking at the setup. You'll see exactly what I mean. You see, he cancels this J248 directly into an 862. And Goldlewis, it's been discovered he has a frame kill for this that's quite consistent to set it up. We'll get more into this again in the video that I think I'm going to make about it, because I wasn't completely sold on this tech at first, but now I am. You do a maximum height super jump, and then J248, and that will automatically set up a land cancel. The inputs are pretty hard for it though, as well, if you want to do land cancel 862. But what's nice about this setup that we're showing here is that it works on hit and on block. So this is a nice kind of mix up. You know, if any of those connect, you get your knockdown, and well, it's pretty unlikely they're going to block all of it. So, and even on block, you're left there with a grounded 862. It's pretty solid, I would say. The problem with this tech is that you're doing an IED JH fast blue RC. The amount of space that you can cover is seriously restricted and predictable from this, because if you want to do land cancel, you have to do it. You have to air dash basically at the moment of the apex of your super jump, which means that you're basically always going to end up a preset amount of distance from where you super jumped, and so it kind of restricts the usefulness of this exact kind of setup. But I think that it has its uses, and this is definitely something that's hard to block. And of course, I am #1 fast blue RC glazer in the universe. I think it's amazing because of the meter efficiency. So overall, it's a good idea. It's a nice concept. This was like early into the land cancel exploration, to be fair to the yogurt male. But overall, I think it's debatable whether or not you would use this over other neutral skips. But it's not necessarily bad by any means. Yes, I approve. So now we've got another setup. This is yet another land cancel trick and implementation of that. Again, early into the exploration of it. So there have been some refinements since then. But this is from D3 King. Yet another absolute gigachad of an individual in the Goldlewis Discord. So let's see this setup. We get the throw, standard stuff, into 5k OTG drone. Looks like we block for just a microsecond to be reversal and mash safe, which I like, because if you go straight into super jump, definitely the pre-jump will get hit. Let me just make sure I saw the inputs right, that we do block here for a second. Yeah, so it's super jump back, right? Right here. These are the inputs that we're looking at. Looks like you're only blocking once you're in the air from this, so you are super jumping immediately. This means that you're susceptible to mash here. 5k OTG Kara will get your pre-jump hit by a press if you try to super jump. And of course, that drone is also not meaty, which means that the soul is potentially able to jump or what have you in that spot. However, this is an example of something that most likely the soul player is not going to be knowledgeable on. This is something that is difficult for the opponent to understand is happening to them in the moment. Because of course you can just block after this drone, and you can make it really, really difficult for them to mash, and you can react to their jumps. Right? And even if they do jump here, by the way, you're super jumping back, which means they cannot air throw you immediately if they jump. And that also means that you can react to their jump when you're air dashing, right? I think if you're looking closely, you have enough time to see if they're jumping, and you can go for an air throw here. If they don't, then you get this land cancel. Although I think the land cancel was not executed right here. You can compare it to the other clip where they cancel immediately on landing. Yeah, I don't think that was a land cancel, but the concept is there. You can land cancel that and then set up a fuzzy. That's kind of the advantage. So overall, a decent idea, I think, but maybe if we keep checking the submissions, we can see it refined a little bit. So next up, we've got the so-called PoopManBoxMan skill issue setup. So there's a Goldlewis player named PoopManBoxMan. Timeless classic of a username right there. And Boxman went ahead and submitted his Magnum Opus, which he's saying is essentially like covering his own fuck-ups in order to bait the opponent into thinking they get a chance to do something here. So let's just take a look. get our 862. And then the frame kill is whiff 486 while they're on the ground, and that will give you a meaty close slash. It's so dumb. It is really, really dumb. Nice optimization there on the combo, by the way, but oh my god, this is just stupid. But I kind of like it. Is it odd that I like this? I almost like the... I don't like it because of how dumb it is, per se. I just think that it's kind of creative. One thing that's nice about this is even if you don't catch the opponent pressing here or anything, they might not be FDing. They're probably less likely to FD this. And that's kind of nice, I guess. Low-key, I kind of want to try this just to meme on people, but is it actually great tech? Now we have to get a little bit nerdge. You know, if you hit a hard knockdown in the corner like this, if you're against a DP character, you should safe jump or safe jab. And if you're against a non-DP character, you should meaty with a behemoth or drone. That's or you can 2K OTG and go for high-low. IMO, as a nerd, that is the best thing that you can do in these situations. I don't think that getting like putting all your eggs in one basket and hoping that they see your whiff 486 and press on your close slash, I don't think that is worth the frequency with which your close slash is just going to get blocked, and your pressure will be way worse in that case compared to getting either a meaty high-low that is super plus or just a super plus guard crush in general or a drone. That is my nerdge take on this. But I mean, I like it. I like Boxman overall. But it's just a little impractical. You might want to try it here and there, though. This is something that would definitely work against the masher type players. You know? There are some people that will try to challenge Goldlewis on Wake Up for some reason. I really don't get that, but some people are like that. So there's another component to this setup. We've got a few different ways of getting these frame kills. This looks to be a meaty 2K off of, and was that a standard like 684 knockdown? Yeah. Kind of funny. The thing that can trip people up about this, by the way, is that a lot of the time you can get 862 to OTG, like off of certain knockdowns, off throw, for example. And so people might see that and think that you can always do it, right? People who don't understand Goldlewis. And so they'll see the OTG whiff, and generally that's like a really good indication to people that it's time to mash. They miss their OTG, that is almost always a spot to mash against other characters if they mess up and miss their OTG. Or even if they don't mash, it's just not a spot to block, the spot to try to jump, to do whatever, backdash, who knows. Now, if you go for a meaty 2K, which seems to be the frame kill here, regrettably, that is backdashable. And if they block, you're not getting any kind of good pressure here. So this particular setup, not the biggest fan. I'll be honest, Boxman, I'm sorry. But I think that the concept is actually pretty good. Maybe we'll live in a reality where we get so good at Raws that we just run up and we intentionally whiff our 862 when we get knockdowns to set up that kind of little mental mini game. We use our Raws as frame kills. Imagine that. That's the future I want to live in. And Boxman here seems to be a pioneer in those ways. Another funny setup that Boxman has presented us with is something that happens when you miss your Karas. Just go for a throw on their wake up immediately. He claims that this has like an 85% success rate. I wouldn't be too surprised, to be honest. I think because Goldlewis's combos, their corner combos are kind of long and tilting. Like, people get upset when they get hit about this. They just take their hands off. Low-key, it might work. I don't lie, might work. Now, is this a good setup? To be honest, I kind of would like to see the frame data here. Like, I would like to know how plus we are off of this particular missed Kara. It's going to vary so much when you miss a Kara, like, whether you can meaty throw or whatever. Or, you know, not meaty throw, but, you know, throw as soon as possible after the 5 frames of throw protection. Or whether you can, like, meaty with a behemoth or a close slash or something. I like the idea of just being aware of your missed Karas and not, like, autopiloting and, like, missing your Kara and still trying to complete the combo. Like, you're not looking at the screen. A lot of people here would just end up doing, like, a whiff 2H because, or like a whiff 248 or whatever. Like what would have been the next part of the combo? Yeah, 248. A lot of people just do this dash cancel and then whiff 248 anyway, because they're just straight up not looking at the screen. You have a billion years to see that you missed the card cancel here. And yeah, I like the idea of just being aware of that and trying to continue pressure off of it. Because everyone's going to mess up once in a while. Like every Goldlewis player misses cards. Every Goldlewis player has dropped combos like this. It happens. It's definitely a thing. You know, that's just, look, we play the highest execution character in the game. Okay, so it's going to happen. And so I think the concept behind this tech is actually very, very good. And I think that it's an important part of becoming a better Goldlewis player. So shout outs to Boxman. This particular setup though, I don't know, maybe. I'm not, you know, it's very niche, so I can't really comment on like whether this will pop up much. This exact kind of missed Kara spacing and whatnot. But hey, Boxman had success with it. That means I believe in Boxman. Okay, let's just be clear about that. Now we've got like some left-right shenanigans, it looks like, from Boxman. So let's just take a look here. It's going to be a 486 knockdown and just a few dashes. And you can really play with the fact here is the idea that Goldlewis is so plus off a 486 ground bounce that you can like really make it look like you're committing to something when you're actually not. And that's actually pretty important to play. And one thing that I've been doing that I notice not a lot of other Goldlewis players do, which is why I think I have historically found more success with this kind of thing than other Goldlewises, is yeah, you run up and you show them this exact animation. This right here, that kind of Goldlewis stopping animation right here. And then you go for the cross-up JH. You don't just dash up and cross-up JH immediately. It's way more obvious. If you do this and kind of show them that you're blocking for a second, it's like actually much more ambiguous. Because what you're doing by just dashing up to them in spots where you want to cross-up JH is that you're basically telling them that it's an option that you're heavily considering by dashing up to them. And they're primed for it, right? It's like a 20 frame reaction. So it is doable to react to that as a cross-up. But if you make them actually guess on it, because you can easily, in that same kind of animation, go for a meaty, which is what Boxman demonstrates here. Right? Meaty close slash. Meaty 268, whatever. You really get the mental stack up. And I think it's actually pretty important to play off that animation, if that makes sense. It's something that's actually quite specific in the game. Like I don't think a lot of other characters have super defined like dash block animations like Goldlewis does. And every time the opponent sees this, they basically know that you're blocking, because to get this animation you have to stop dashing, which generally means you're inputting a dash block. You have no reason not to, right? And so that can really make them think that you're respecting when you don't need to respect, or that you might not have time to do a meaty. But the truth is you can just kind of go out of this animation whenever you want, like cancel it frame 1 with a jump, which is basically what Boxman is doing here. And that, I'm telling you, that can really mess with the opponent. So I like the idea. I think this is good tech, and it's something that has more depth to it than meets the eye. I'm gassing up Boxman here. Okay, good job, Boxman. Good tech. Now this tech comes from Voidable and B, a co-creation. Looks like it's a combo, and I think we're looking at this one from mostly a sauce factor. FRC drone into, it looks like that will frame kill so that your close slash hits them as they're crossing you up. Yep. And that gives you a back turn. A free back turn. You get the side swap back into the wall splat. Oh man. Oh, it's saucy. I really, really like this. Sauce factor, A+. Well done. Pretty good damage too, actually. So like, this is one of those saucy setups that you can actually go for practically, because you're not missing out that much compared to what you would normally get. Question is, how much meter could you do this from? Because we start with full meter in the clip, but like, yeah, you can see that the meter refund on the fast RC is pretty good. So you could do this from about 60-75 meter, which is definitely really solid. That pops up. If you car a super there, you might even be able to do it a little bit earlier. So I'm a big fan of sauce. Like Backturns mid combo, this kind of thing is pretty hard to actually set up, but when it happens, oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so hype. The only thing is, I've done this kind of thing here and there unintentionally in combos and just made it work. And commentators, it's pretty funny. Commentators just don't know what it is. Like, they see that, and they're like, what's going on? What the fuck? He's side-switching back and forth. How do you end up on that side? They're just super confused. They don't understand the art that is Goldlewis. They don't know about the backturns. They know backturns exist a lot of the time. They'll be like, oh, if you just jump over them with the drone down, you can do a backturn. And these Goldlewis players think they have this super insane deep tech. It is super insane and deep tech, first of all, okay? How dare you? And second of all, they tend to not be able to recognize it outside of that exact circumstance, which is what makes this kind of thing so hype and so surprising when you see it happen to spectators. But I just wish the commentators knew a little more about it. Okay, I like the combo. I like the idea. I like the sauce. Nice job. No, nice job. It's not easy to cook up these kinds of combos because, like I said, everything here is essentially a frame kill. It's really hard to set up this backturn intentionally with manual timing. And so that means a lot of experimentation went into this one. I can appreciate that. Okay, I can. Now we've got some tech from Kamoi Hito on Twitter /X, and I don't know what this is. This was submitted by Mika-chan. She's a Goldlewis player in the Discord, of course, as well. Not sure what to expect, so let's just watch it, see what we get. It's gonna be a reset, cross-up reset. Oh no, it's cock inspection. Now this is a timeless classic right here. Absolute timeless classic Goldlewis combo. Yeah, if you didn't know, this is referred to as cock inspection when you get the cross-up close slash right on the crotch of the opponent on their wall splat. This is the way you set it up. Yeah, right there. Yep, we need to inspect that. We need to make sure you're all zipped up. And we need to make sure your diaper is unspoiled and such. And that's the purpose of cock inspection. So, of course, you already know this is a 10 out of 10. I mean, perfect grade. This was actually posted on Twitter on the 12th of June, 2022. So yeah, this goes to show the amazing precedent of the cock inspection among the Goldlewis community. Of course, since then, there have been variations of cock inspection. There have been different ways to set it up, and there have been different things that you do after you wall splat, depending on if you have full meter and whatnot. You can actually get pretty in-depth. There's been development in this field, but I don't have those on hand right now, you know. I have to say, though, I've never actually hit this in game. I have never hit the cock inspection, and you know what? Maybe I should do a video where I just sit in tower and just fish for this. Like, I just... video ends when I hit cock inspection. I think it'd be good, but yeah, you know, 10 out of 10, okay? Now we've got a clip from Takoyaki. They are yet another GOAT among the Goldlewis Discord, a longtime admin, making sure that Discord is, of course, the greatest character Discord out of any, no bias, it genuinely is. And one thing I love about Taco is their creativity. As a player, Takoyaki is a young prodigy and has that youthful touch of naivete that translates just enough in order to be original in-game. The types of choices and playstyle that they have. So the setup, probably going to reflect that. Let's take a look. Yeah. No surprise there. Very unconventional mix coming out from Taco. And what we're trying to demonstrate here, I think, is a left, right, high, low mix-up off of the air dash. And throw. Yeah. And throw. Off of the air dash 248 out of JK. This, I think, is actually legit. I'm just going to say it. Now, what I'd like to know about this setup is how long the opponent has to actually react or block. Now, what I'd like to actually know about this setup is how big of a gap there is after the RCs or after the things when you RC. Like right there, that's not going to have a gap when you RC. That's really good, and that is very hard to block. And generally, the opponent is going to be blocking low here because they see your air dash and your J248. They have no reason to expect another overhead, right? That's where this one comes in. Now, my question would just be if they're forced to stand and hold this. Like, if you set the stance to crouch right here, will they be able to go under this JH? Or are they stuck standing because of the J248? My hunch is that they're stuck standing, but I'm not 100% sure. You know what? How about we check it real quick? Okay, we're going to hold up when we unpause. And it does seem to make them block high. Now the reason being because even though they crouch for a microsecond, if you do like a slight delay JH, it will actually hit crouchers. Like that, you know? And this seems to be auto-timing that for us. Now, the question is, if they crouch there, which is the most likely thing, can you hit confirm that JH? I don't think so. I really don't. But the thing is, you're air dashing after and crossing them up. You're basically just going to reset them. They're not going to react to that. So the mix-up will still work, right? But there's kind of some room for them to panic and do stuff to you there. You're probably not going to get DP'd or reversaled. And since they're in hit stun from the JH, you're probably also going to be able to go through with your cross-up 842 just fine. So that was the only part of the mix-up that I was skeptical on. Let's go back and take more of a look. So we have determined that this right here, while not true stringing, is still something that they need to block or they'll get hit by a JH right here. And I don't think that they can really do much in that gap. And then even if they block or get hit, they still have to deal with this cross up on that option, which I think is going to be really tricky for most people. And it's with JP, opposite side JD, or I mean 2D. Let's just take a look at that one more time. Slow option. I am, again, curious whether the opponent can throw this, whether they can press and whatnot here. So the validity of this setup and this concept, this four-way mix, really depends on what they can do and how effective it is against FD. But I like the idea, and I think that this is something probably worth mixing in here and there. It's just saucy. I like sauce. The practicality, I think, is questionable on this. Mostly because if you land, if you get away with that greed, that air dash in, J248, you are so plus off of that. And also you get a massive combo on normal and counter hit. So I think it's just a little bit better overall to land in close slash regardless, and then use your meter from there to mix. Like you can always force the fuzzy 50-50 close slash BRC. You know, that is like, it's so hard to justify doing other stuff over that. Of course you get a fast RC here, which is nice for meter conservation. And that's why Taco, I think, is demonstrating this with positive bonus, because even if these get blocked, you're left in a really good position to continue mixing. And I like the idea, and I like the originality of it. But I think it's a little too hard to justify over the other spots. Now, as a round ender, this is really solid. I think, like, especially this throw, that's also really solid. This setup, I think, is legit. Like, I think of these, this one is the most legit. Because getting a throw with Goldlewis is just so valuable. Now, it looks like this is a little spacing dependent here, though. I assume if someone FDs, I'm going to be outside of throw range, right? Let's take a look at that real quick. Yeah, like, I'm not going to cross them up, at least. Now, this is still pretty good, I will say. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of other stuff you can do with the same kind of concept. Like, you can try to go for it like that. You can go for a running there. You can go for cross-ups. You can do all kinds of things. It's a little hard to see the frame data on exactly like how plus you are here. +8 it looks like maybe. So can I get like a meaty close slash there? Can I go for 248? Something like that. I think this is overall pretty good against people who FD actually, because like you can kind of get a mix off of your JK J248. It's solid. You kind of don't get much if they FD. You get pushed out really far. Like let me just show you real quick how far out you get pushed if you do this kind of thing normally. You're out really, really far here, and it's kind of hard to get anything guaranteed from this spot. Anything good at least. You can see your +8. Now from here you can easily frame trap with like a 684 and that sort of thing, and try to go from there with your meter. But I mean, you're less likely to open them up that way, I think, and it's much less meter efficient than if you do the taco. But I mean, I think it's much less likely that you're going to actually open someone up at that point than if you just do the taco, and it's it's worse meter efficiency. If they don't FD, I don't think it's ever worth going for, because you could just do this, you know? You know, that kind of thing. Or, and you have your low option 2K close slash. But, you know, I like the idea, and I think it's super original. So, shout outs to Taco. Let's just watch the whole thing one more time. So there you have your same side high option into a Crossup. Right, there's your same side option that is non-Crossup, and there is a gap from JH to J248 if you micro delay it. So that means that they don't have Crossup protection here. Right, and if that hits, you get a big bombo. If you get that low J248 hit. Worth experimenting with, I think this setup is, and some of the concepts here are very, very good. So overall, for both originality and practicality, I'm gonna give Taco the highest possible grade. Well done, Takoyaki. Well done. So Baltharaaz, also a pioneer of the land cancel tech, I think the one to discover the super jump JH frame kill. Big shout outs to them. We've got, you know, one of the OG setups here. Another way you can frame kill it. FRC with JP JH. Yeah. Now this is a blue combo though, which makes me think that yeah, they could have blocked that. They can block right here. They can block this cross up J248, right? I think that's what the blue combo indicates in this case. But you get the back turn 248, and it's really funny. 248 always has the side switching property, no matter if you get the back turn version or not. So like even if you hit with those really far off hits of it, it'll still side switch, and it will. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It will, what's the word I would say? I'm trying to say here. It will side switch to this opposite side which you're facing. And because you're facing the left side here with this back turn, even though it starts as if you're facing the right, it will side swap over to the right as if you were facing the left. Does that make sense? Because you are facing the left. It just doesn't look like you are. That's why it's a back turn. Kind of nebulous explanation there, but hopefully it makes sense. If this true comboed, and I'm just misinterpreting what this blue combo means here, I like it. Question is, does it vary, you know, with height, with different characters? Is this really only a geo thing? Does it depend, you know, on the crouchers? Do you have to delay the JH at all? It looks like there is a slight delay on the JH there. How manual is that timing element in order to set up this full combo and in order to set up the back turn? All of those matter for evaluating the tech. And how dependent is this on FD as well? I would wager that you cannot get this cross-up JH here if you don't FD. And I would also wager that if they block the JH, that the, you know, when you land the 248 might whiff as well. If you get the back turn, it won't. But if you're same side, of course, it will. And so those kinds of things matter for evaluating tech. In my opinion, if you're looking at any kind of Goldlewis tech, you should always test it on FD. That is the ¡1 thing you should do, because everyone is going to FD against Goldlewis all the time. That's like absolute layer 0 baby counterplay against Goldlewis. So I think because of that, this setup is a little impractical. But it's saucy. I'll give it that much. Setting up a back turn and land cancel simultaneously is just 2 layers of sauce that is a little bit too much for me to handle, in a way, you know? It's like an overload of flavor. So good stuff to Baltharaaz for finding this. Definitely required a lot of experimentation and deep knowledge of how Goldlewis works. So nicely done. Let's check out the rest. So next up we've got something from Kravity. And this is being referred to as, it's a bit of a mouthful, the White Wild Assault Clash Orange Wild Assault Speed Boost Glitch FDC Slide Side Switch. Let's see what they mean. This is apparently a bug. Okay. So I'm gonna try to explain this. This is hilarious, by the way. I love this. So it looks like if you cancel with FD, for some reason, you slide forward as if you're like having... Why is it doing this? I am really confused about how this works. You know what? I kind of want to test this. I want to see. Let's boot up. the thing is, won't Charge Wild Assault just straight up beat this? Okay, so it looks like it kind of depends on how late you do it. Because like if I run up and melee with it like this, it's gonna win. But if I do it late, will it clash? Yes, that seems to be how you set it up. Okay. I see. I see. I like it. I like it. I like it. Oh my god, that is hilarious, actually. That is so funny. Oh my god. It's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. And big shout outs to Kravity. And I haven't seen this before. So that's something that is really interesting. And in a way, it's almost like a nice mix-up that you can set up. This is so hard to see. Man, I have to experiment with this for a sec. I'm sorry. I have no choice. I have to. Ah, I think I found a frame kill. Double with 5p. I want to see if I can like get a back turn off of that or anything. So this is the kind of thing that Kravity was doing. Just go straight into close slash to punish the DP. But I wonder if there's some wicked way to get a back turn out here. I honestly do. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god. The potential, man. But can you back turn 862 and 842? That's the question. If anyone experiments with this, please let me know. It's so cool. I really am praying that there's a way to actually find a back turn there. It seems pretty tricky though. There's a lot of potential for sauce right there, and I love it. And I would pay to see a Goldlewis hit this in tournament. I would actually pay. I've given you the frame kill. Find a way. Find a way. Now remember earlier how I was talking about how the land cancels have been explored and optimized? That is thanks to none other than Alex and friends. Alex Greasy Cletus, I think, among with the other goats I mentioned, has done a lot of work for developing the land cancels and setups and legitimate setups off of it. And to be honest, I'm just copy pasting this and gonna make a video about it. But if you want to learn more about land cancels and the specifics of it, please join the Goldlewis community Discord. Make the step and ask them about it directly, because I'm no expert on this as of yet. So with that being said, let's take a look. So it looks like throw. And you actually just get a straight up land cancel. Right, you can see the concept here is quite something. You see Alex finding ways to loop the land cancels into itself using meter. And you can actually see something that's really nice here. This isn't a safe jump, but it is a meaty, and it OS's backdash automatically. So against non-reversal characters, this setup is guaranteed right here. Guaranteed. And it will frame trap. Right here. J248 to land cancel 862. This is a frame trap, believe it or not. It looks really wacky, but it genuinely is. And it's super hard to block as well. And even if they do, you're pretty plus. Weak to FD is the only problem. But that's another way to set up land cancels. FRC drone into 5k. And this is why I was really saying that I see the vision for land cancels. I think this is legit. I think this is something that's really hard to deal with. And in particular, this one right here. Land cancel 486, because this will work against FD. And it's really nice because you're just gaining so much meter by doing this. You're gaining a ton of meter. So here we have another setup from Alex. Mid-screen throw. Gonna be meaty drone. Again, definitely not actually a meaty drone, but something that is worth knowledge checking people on. So you can get away with this a lot of the time. It's gonna be... That's gonna be the super jump frame kill into land cancel and back turn 684. Otherwise known as a 486, essentially. You really plus off of that. And of course, you can always extend if you have more meter. Alex chooses to go for a fuzzy using that. Of course, you could fuzzy directly off of the back turn 684, because that is a guaranteed overhead that will force him to stand. Or you get a combo if it hits when you PRC. It's a good idea. It's a good concept. I like it. And here we have an attempt from Alex to make a real quote-unquote setup. for the back turns. So this is trying to be a way to actually guarantee. So here we have a setup from Alex that is an attempt to get a guaranteed setup on the land cancels. So he does that by burning BRC drone. And this is actually all real. Pretty much. I think the only spots the opponent can do anything are like the 1-frame gap between JH-J248 and the gap with the land cancel 486. Now again, this is like a little bit weak to FD, is kind of the only generalized problem with land cancels. But what I like about them is that, that being said, they still work if you do land cancel 486. And on top of that, this is something that I think you might want to pull out against people with Goldlewis experience, because you don't need to go super deep into the mix-ups for people who don't understand the character. For people who do, these are things that they've never seen. These are things that are very, very hard to understand what's happening in the moment against Goldlewis, even if you understand what he's doing. You know, if you're expecting a certain set of things. That's why I'm such a big proponent of having a deep bag of tricks and tech, so that you can open up really anyone that you play against. And it's also just sick. I mean, come on, it's sick. So yeah, I think the potential of back turns, or rather the potential of land cancels and of back turns, to be honest, are both pretty significant. And when used in tandem, it's just saucy. So definitely really good work from the people in the Goldlewis Discord, you know, getting the progress done on this tech. Full video coming soon enough about it if you guys want to see it. You guys want to know something funny? You can actually land cancel on other characters as well. So this is from Powdachu, who discovered a way to do it on Sin. Check this out. It's going to be a safe jump FD cancel with JS, and then land cancel into DP, and it will OS reversals. And because Sin is bullshit, he can cancel that into another super. Kind of funny stuff, right? You can apply this when you get a Wild Assault knockdown, and you want to beat DPRC or whatever with him. It's kind of cool. I just think it's awesome stuff. We also have a final setup here from Baltharaaz once again. It's going to be a 5k fast BRC setup. I like it. Little spacing dependent. You can get some same side shenanigans going as well, and you're probably plus there. Fast BRC, which means I'm #1 fan. Good stuff, Baltharaaz. I'm a fan. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, Goins. I hope the idea of this video is kind of for fun, but also to show that Goldlewis has an insane amount of tech development that you can do. There's so much you can personally come up with on this character. That is why he is objectively the coolest character in the game. The sickest character in the game. He just has so many interactions within his kit, with different parts of his kit and game mechanics and whatnot, that give him a layer of depth that is just unprecedented in other characters. I'm just going to say it. It is. He's the best. Anyway, with that being said, Goins, that's all from me for now. Now, a little bit of personal update. I have been playing Geo now after Johnny. Probably gonna pilot her until my monthly in December, and then it's back to Goldlewis for Frosty Faustings, I think. Maybe I'll keep those other characters around if I ever go down 0-2 in a set or something. Geo and Johnny, they're not super high maintenance, honestly, once you figure out how to play them, and they're really good against some characters that Goldlewis is bad against, like Geo especially, Chaos, and Faust. I might actually just straight up play her for those. But yeah, that's all from me, Goldlewis, and we'll see you later.